Artificial intelligence is starting to appear in K-12 classrooms. Isabella Vesperini joins us from Lakeview Elementary to tell us more about what that means.
Thanks, Joe. One teacher at Lakeview Elementary has already begun to integrate AI into her curriculum. She wants to give her 5th grade students an opportunity to learn how to use AI early on.
Today we're going to learn how AI was developed, created, how it is useful.
I really want to feel that I am doing what's best for kids, and I feel like the future of work is changing, and in order for them to be prepared for the future, they need to be exposed to it now.
Pablo gives her students the chance to play around with ChatGPT and ask it to do random things.
Typing in something like, write a letter to your favorite teacher that includes information about frogs and George Washington, because those are 2 of my favorite things. And they thought it was hysterical because it instantly came up with a letter and talked about George Washington and frogs.
She also gives lessons on what AI is and what it can do.
It was really cool to see how it works and stuff, because before that I had no clue how it worked. And after that I knew all about it.
Clara has also used AI in Robotics Club.
We have to program it and it has to learn stuff from us.
Pablo has also brought in a researcher who taught the kids how to organize data when tracking deer movement.
Researchers used to sit out in the environment or sit out in the wild and he explained how he spent hours upon hours upon hours, and that obviously wasn't good. So they created cameras and sensors and used all of that technology to collect the data instead.
Using AI to complete assignments, such as writing, is the obvious drawback of the technology in the classroom. But an IE professor has a different approach for AI pessimists.
Instead of saying we're trying to catch the cheating, is to try and say, how do we catch the learning? I've seen some really innovative ways, including teachers are asking students to turn in the transcript of how they talk back and forth with ChatGPT, so you can see what questions are the students asking.
Some teachers are concerned about not having time to teach kids how to use AI, let alone learn how to use it themselves. But Pablo hasn't had any issues experimenting with Google Gemini to help her create rubrics.
It's basically just makes your life easier.
A recent national survey from the Walton Family Foundation found that 56% of teachers have not received training on how to use AI chatbots, but would like to. The survey showed 32% of teachers are not using AI because of a lack of training.
The thing is, students are so good at figuring that out, whether it's just clicking a bunch of buttons because they're not worried about breaking something. That sometimes has a big element in it.
Once kids experiment on their own, it's easy for them to share the results and how they did it with others in the classroom.
The world is constantly changing. Technology is advancing and it's not going away.
The Walton Family Foundation study found that teachers who use AI save an average of 13 hours a week. The study also found that 59% of teachers who don't know how to use AI are favorable to the technology, while 72% of teachers that do know how to use AI are favorable to it.
If I tell you, hey, I know that you have to create a ton of new assessments for your classroom, let me show you how you can do that in ChatGPT, and it'll only take 5 minutes of your time. So then once you start seeing those things, then you start seeing well, what else could I do?
An English teacher at Bloomington High School North has also used ChatGPT to make assignments easier for students to understand.
I'll sort of explain where we are in a unit and then say, okay, so here's what we've been doing so far. I'm kind of trying to figure out what would make logical sense to go to next, and then I'll ask it that.
Until recently, ChatGPT could only access information up to 2021 and would often produce inaccurate information. OpenAI recently announced in an X post last year that ChatGPT can now access information from any time on the internet. But Cooper Smith reminds his students that AI isn't flawless.
It's a great place to get ideas. It's a great place to get, feedback. It's a great place to try to get an understanding of something you're not quite getting from your teacher. But obviously, as you know, and we all know, that it can say some wrong things. It can do some crazy stuff.
Given how widespread AI is, Coopersmith also doesn't think it's a good idea to keep students away from it. He prefers to address the issue in class and teach students how to properly use it as a tool.
Sometimes I actually am the one who is ultimately introducing them to AI, which feels a little bit like I'm opening Pandora's box. But again, my thing is like, okay, they're going to come around to it eventually.
Other students in Pablo's class last year also enjoyed learning about how AI can help them solve problems in new and different ways.
I feel like it would be really popular because like there's already a new phone that came out and it has so much AI. It's kind of like scary. Like I feel like sometimes AI, it's like so cool but so like scary how fast it can learn.
Schools like Lakeview Elementary and Bloomington North have gotten a head start, but MCCSC is still working on incorporating AI across the corporation. Reporting from Lakeview Elementary for Indiana News Desk, I'm Isabella Vesperini.